The numbers told the story. They always do.
He's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
It's a Friday edition of a numbers game here on VSiN. Happy to be with you. I'm Jeff Parles. Kelley, Midland, Bydlon. Four. Kev Trask, again, moment of the week in the studio. Kev, making it like we're on the 16th at the stadium course, Kelley.
I've never been so distracted by him before during the show.
It's pretty good.
Because he's a smart guy. I didn't know what was going on, but he stopped a countdown and started it right at 4.
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But hey, look, Kev's one of the best in the business, and again, one of the most essential people at the network. You wouldn't hear us if it wasn't for Kev, right, Kelley?
That's factual.
That is a fact. Every once in a while.
It's not just opinion. That's a fact.
Every once in a while, I actually throw some facts into here. We have a good show lined up for you today. Our guy, Paul Carr, EPL, good card across the pond, 10:30 Eastern. John Legeza. You know, Kelley, the energy will be brought down to Legeza in.
Mm-hmm. He always does that,
yeah. Show killer. No, we love John. John's with us at 11:15, and then Jason Weingarten. We'll have Jason today after mishap yesterday, 11:30 for Jason Weingarten. And we have emerged from the darkness. We talked about Aaron Rodgers yesterday emerging from the darkness. Did you see the picture of what it was of the room? Actually, the picture got revealed.
Oh, I did not.
It's even stupider than I thought.
Well, I'm on that right now.
It's just so stupid. The small room with the queen bed right next to the meditation mat. It's idiocy. Complete idiocy.
Oh, yeah.
Complete idiocy.
I said it on the air yesterday, and now I'm really not joking. This is like just as nice as my apartment. Throw a couple TVs in there. This is like what every football fan goes through on a Sunday watching Red Zone for like a dozen hours. They don't move. They just sit in something like this with a couple TVs, and that's it. So, way to experience what your fans experience all the time, Aaron.
I don't get it. Whatever. The guy is exhausting. You can hear it in my voice. Totally exhausting, dude. So, what happened yesterday? What happened this morning as well? Real quick here. Before we get to last night, Ole Miss fired Kermit Davis, their basketball coach. I know that moves the needle. That happened a grand total of 14 minutes ago.
Oh.
So that is breaking news. Very disappointing tenure for Kermit Davis, who, of course, everyone got to know when he was the head coach of Middle Tennessee State when they upset Michigan State in the tournament a few years back. And, of course, that was as big of a tournament upset as we had ever seen at that point. That was pre-UMBC. Michigan State was the pre-tournament favorite in that tournament, and 15-seeded Middle Tennessee State knocked them out, and then got blasted by Syracuse in the following round. But Kermit Davis is done at Ole Miss. Really bad season for Ole Miss. Just have been going backwards since his first season in Oxford. 5 years, one tournament, and it was in year one. So very disappointing tenure for Kermit Davis in Oxford. To the NBA, Kelley, the Nikola Jokic guy's good.
He's not bad.
He's pretty good. Triple-double for Jokic, 24, 18, 13 for the likely three-time MVP. And they beat the Cavs 115-109. Kelley, of course, this was not a national TV game because we got a sparkler in Philly that we'll get to in a second.
Some great games last night.
But what a performance out of the break for Jokic.
Yeah.
And for Denver, you talked about this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You could not have asked for a better day for Denver in the Western Conference standings, where they win a game where they were a small underdog against Cleveland in really a game between two of the best in the league. And then Memphis blew a big lead in the fourth quarter against Philadelphia. That lead is now 6 for Denver on Memphis. We're now getting to the point where, hey, you know what? Keep playing 600 basketball, 650 basketball, and that's worse than what Denver's done so far this year win percentage-wise. Nuggets may have this thing wrapped early so they can really take it as easy as you can in that early stage of April leading into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've thought about this too, and I think the first thing is we have to say the obligatory The season's got a long way to go, Jeff. We haven't even seen Kevin Durant on the court yet, right? That's true, but
Not making up 10 games.
if we are thinking about that down the road, I want to see how much Jokic sits at all, if at all, because that guy doesn't miss games. Like he doesn't miss games unless it's bad. So I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see.
Well, he missed earlier in the year with COVID.
Yes,
That's basically the only thing he missed for.
Unless it's bad, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's something he was required to miss for.
Yes.
It didn't even matter. But it's one of those things now where you bring that up. Let's say Denver wraps this thing. Let's say Denver wraps this thing on April 1st, which is conceivable actually with the way the standings are.
What do you have dates in front of you? What's the end of the regular season?
The end of the regular season, I just have to double check it real quick because I had it in my mind. Oh, actually,
April 9th.
It's April 9th. It's actually earlier than usual. Usually around like the 14th or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's say they actually have it wrapped up. Let's say they have it wrapped up in that last week of March instead, okay? Because in April they have 5 games. Jokic has to, they have a lot of good opponents on national TV down the stretch, Kelley. They play Milwaukee, Philadelphia, New Orleans, Phoenix, Golden State, and Phoenix again. Down the stretch, all those games on national TV. Jokic is going for a 3rd straight MVP here.
Yeah.
I just wonder if that creeps in the mind of Michael Malone and the Nuggets organization, and honestly, Jokic himself.
Sure, yeah. And him most of all, right?
Yeah. Do we see him play games when they already have it wrapped up because of that? Now, granted, those last 4 games in the regular season, there is 1 game against Phoenix on TNT, but if he doesn't play, I don't think anyone's going to hold that against him with 3 games left.
It's a good point, Jeff, because I think it's something to keep your eye on down the road for sure. Because that's, look, I think them winning, getting a 1 seed and Jokic winning the MVP is, I think it's about as far as they're going this year. So, I would go for it. I would be going for it, the 3-peat.
Let's go to Philly last night, and the Sixers, again, down as much as, 18 last night?
Yeah, it was
Kelley,
a lot.
18? Philly was down by.
I covered on this one. Should have had any business.
No, you had no reason. 17. Sorry, I gave Memphis one extra point. Memphis led by as much as 17 in double digits in the 4th quarter, and Philadelphia comes from behind and wins 110-105 and covers the number. Just a disaster. Just a gross loss if you had Memphis last night in the city of brotherly love. And Kelley, I'll just ask you because.
It's a gross basketball game, too. Just neither team can make a shot.
No one can make shots. This Memphis team, first off, when you're the little guy and you're in the small market and you're a really good team, you should be this unbelievably likable team that everyone wants to get around. Mm-hmm. They are the complete opposite. And a little fracas at the end of the game was kind of the perfect, all right, you blew the lead. Don't get annoyed because Embiid doesn't want you to shove him after a foul when you're trying to foul late. Dylan Brooks is just the dude you can't really.
They're very unlikable.
Very unlikable dude at this point.
Very unlikable. But and Jared Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant seem to take their cues from Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, which is not the guy you want to be taking.
Yeah, they become a little obnoxious. I hear you. They're very easy to unlike.
But here's the other thing, Kelley. Dislike. Yes. Here's the other thing with this though. And we've seen this over the last month with them. And yes, I understand there are some injuries, but every team has injuries. They're the team that I'm looking forward to fade in the playoffs, especially if, and again, Kelley, we talked about it yesterday with Denver against Golden State potentially in a 1-8, where we could be looking at a healthy Steph Curry and taking a Golden State in a first-round series.
Yeah, I think that they are. I'm one of those people that I've been down on Memphis the past couple of years. And look, the one thing, the biggest reason I'll say is just, and this could turn this year. It's not from anything of a talent standpoint or anything like that. I think this team in a couple of years could be really, really dang good. They're just young. They're still really young. I think it's a lot to ask. I think they lack a little bit of depth as well. That's gonna show in the playoffs. But, if they can you can get those kind of games out of Desmond Bane like you got last night, and he can do that almost every night on an offensive end. They're going to be very tough to beat. Happened last night, though. Joel Embiid was out of his mind, especially on the defensive end. Goes for 27 points, 19 rebounds, 6 blocks in the game last night. He was all over the place. Him and Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of going back and forth on the defensive end was fun to watch.
The blocky Adam Morant. Ooh.
Oh, there was a couple. Jaren Jackson Jr. had one on Embiid that was like, that might have been the sickest block of the season.
Yeah, no, unbelievable defense in that game. And it was a horrible shooting game, way under that 232. And then, Kelley, I'll let you have the floor on this one. Reminder, people, get the best of the number here. Oklahoma City loses in overtime, is marketed as another huge game for Utah, 120-119, the final in Salt Lake. And Kelley, all depending on what number you got here on both sides, actually.
Yeah, this was, I think Will Hill was on with us, when was that, Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, Wednesday. And he was, I think he took +2.5 with the Thunder. That gets home.
Gets home.
So if you bet it before, or the overnight lines, look at lines, you were good on the Thunder. If you bet it yesterday at any point, you probably lost, unless you maybe pushed on a +1. Or if you were cocky like me and you just took the money line 2 days ago, you lost 120-119. Jazz beat the Thunder. Thunder major height and rebounding issues down the stretch. Great games though out of SGA and Lauri Markkanen as they continued to battle for the most improved player.
Who's your leader right now, Ned?
I mean, I want it to be SGA, but it's a 3-horse race right now.
Probably does. He fits the mold.
He does. Brunson does too, though.
Yeah, that's true. Both of them do. Hey, we're talking quarterbacks next. We're not going into the darkness. We're just getting started on a numbers game.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It's time to download Nevada's premier sports betting app. That's BetMGM Sports. BetMGM is all your favorite wagering options, along with in-game betting, boosted odds specials, and plenty more. Download the BetMGM app today and stop by any MGM casino on the Strip with your state-issued ID. To open an account and start placing sports bets from anywhere in Nevada. Whatever your sport, whatever your betting style, you're going to love BetMGM's state-of-the-art technology and fan-friendly specials every day of the week. So visit BetMGM for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Nevada. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Kelley, they're showing on NFL Network right now the Kenneth Gainwell short by an inch touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Good
which is still one that kind of hurts. 2 weeks later. Oh, man. That Super Bowl was a very good betting Super Bowl for me, but it would have been the icing on the cake if that had counted.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it was very randomly a very good Super Bowl for me, too. I really didn't think it was going to I didn't think I was going to have as many bets as I ended up having because I got in on the Chiefs live multiple times. And then, man, definitely one of my better props, Super Bowl props Super Bowls in a long time. Which Jeff, I don't really sink much money into Super Bowl props, especially in the past few years, I guess I would say. But, man, when you run hot, that's a good feeling.
No, I mean, it looked like it was going to be an ugly day at first. And then all of a sudden, I look down at my sheet. I'm like, whoa. We're pretty close to a bonanza here, and we got there because, of course, Kelley, I was on with you and Gil on the special numbers game on Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't even mention my my tickets on the exact score props. I had Kansas City to land 38, which was ridiculous. Which was ridiculous. I didn't even realize it going through my account. I'm like, whoa, I have that ticket live here. Don't score a touchdown now after the penalty. And we got there, which was kind of nuts, which means I'll never hit that again in the Super Bowl, probably. So, let's see. All right, Kelley. Quarterbacks. We have numbers again, don't we? They're back out. Aaron Rodgers. Let's start there. And, look, we've talked about this a lot over the last few weeks. And, Kelley, I wish someone would put up a yes-no retire prop on Aaron Rodgers at this point. Because that I'm a little more intrigued to bet than I would be to bet the Aaron Rodgers, where is he going to go prop. Because I really do think at this point we are heading towards Green Bay or retire. Now, this is a little bit different of a market. It's a points bet. So if he goes back to Green Bay or he retires, The bets are no action.
Yeah.
Get your money back. So the Raiders, remember, no Packers, no retire on here. Bets are voided if one of those two things happens. Raiders are minus 167. The Jets are plus 140. Everyone else is double digits. It's not a good enough price on New York at this point. I don't think he's coming here. You saw earlier in the week, Ziegler's press conference. That kind of felt like that the Raiders are gearing up to draft either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. If Anthony Richardson's even to him, because apparently Anthony Richardson's going first because everyone knows that at this point with the way the numbers are dropping on him to be the first overall pick.
Yeah, that's been incredible.
Has all the tools, but can't take that dude number one. No way. I wouldn't do it. No chance. But, Kelley, I don't think any of these numbers on Rodgers are bettable because I really do think retirement actually should be the leader in the clubhouse right now. Then Green Bay, then the Jets, then everybody else.
Interesting. Yeah. So when they were, and look, this is totally a shop around because I think some of the last numbers we saw from DraftKings wasn't like Raiders.
Raiders were like minus 300.
Yeah, like minus 300.
Something crazy like that.
And you had Green Bay was like plus 300. And I've kind of maintained the whole time, Jeff, where if I was going to bet anything in it, it would be just take the longer shot on Green Bay, the team that has control of him right now. But I mean, everything we keep hearing, it does sound like the team's ready to move on from him. He's ready to move on and that this could happen. So then I think if you're betting this, I like the points bet market that they have up where you basically get push protection, right? If he goes back to Green Bay or retires like you're talking about, it's not a losing bet for you. So I don't know. I just think if you're going to be betting these type of things, I would bet it here rather than somewhere you could lose if he goes back to the Packers or retires. Rather take a shot at the Raiders, the Jets, and get my money back if he ends up retiring and going back to Green Bay.
Well, most of these markets are if he retires, it's voided anyway because they're not offering the retirement on there. But, I just don't really like those numbers. I don't think they're good enough. The Raider number, again, I don't think he's coming here. That press conference earlier in the week tells the story to me. The Raiders are drafting a quarterback. And I don't think they're going for a 1 to 2 year solution. If anything, they bring in a guy like Marcus Mariota. They won't bring Mariota back, but someone like that, start for 1 year, sit Levis or sit Richardson behind him, and then 2024 full-blown go for it with that rookie. I don't think they want to deal with Rodgers because, again, if you get Aaron Rodgers, you have no idea if this is 1 year. You have no idea if this is 2 years. This could even be more than 2 years. You have no idea what he wants to do. That's why the only team that makes sense other than Green Bay is the Jets because they let Aaron Rodgers be there for 3 years. I don't think they're.
I think any of these teams, whether we start talking about any of these quarterback needy teams that are further down the draft board. So I'm talking like you're talking about Las Vegas, I think Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Tennessee, they all kind of fit this mold. We were talking about this a little bit on Big Bets yesterday, where it's these teams have to consider. What would you rather trade the capital to go get a guy here, or are you going to go trade to move up in the draft, right? And that's where I think each one of these teams has to make that call. Now, what do you get? Aaron Rodgers, you're going to get a fat contract that you got to pay out, and you restructure whatever you're going to do with it. It's still going to be a big contract versus a rookie deal that you'd get off a guy that you draft. But I don't know. Each one of these teams got to think through that a little bit differently. It sure sounds like the Jets are trying to go after one of these veteran guys, whether it would be Rodgers, whether it would be Carr. But yeah, I think these other teams, Jeff, they do have an interesting choice to make when it comes to that.
Let's go to Lamar Jackson because, Kelley, we were talking about this yesterday. The report off of ESPN, Jameson Hensley yesterday, that Lamar Jackson in Baltimore could be almost $100 million different.
Yeah.
In their contract negotiations. Man, the Cleveland Browns, I was actually having this conversation with someone yesterday, Kelley, where the Browns completely messed up the quarterback market by giving Deshaun Watson, who is not deserving of any guaranteed money, all of that guaranteed money, has completely messed up the market for guys that are elite.
Sure.
And Lamar Jackson should be asking for more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson. And he's right to. And if you're Baltimore, you know what? I don't have a problem if you don't want to pay him that much.
I don't have a problem
with
either.
it
Yeah, I mean, people have been saying that since the Watson deal happened, right? And this is where you're seeing it firsthand, right?
This is the first time it's happened.
Lamar Jackson is the first big kind of, I don't want to say casualty of this, but it's the first big hurdle that you have to get by as a team where you knew the owners hated it. The players are going to love it because essentially he's setting the market for what they're worth. And if you're Lamar Jackson, I have no problem with what he's saying to the team either. That the market's set with what Deshaun Watson did. I've accomplished more than what Deshaun Watson has in this league. Neither's won a Super Bowl, but at least one has an MVP.
But been in the playoffs multiple times,
so I have no problem with him asking for more money, and I got no problem Baltimore wants to move on, Jeff, but someone's going to pay this guy. I think someone's going to be desperate enough to pay this guy what he's looking for, and it might be the Atlanta Falcons. They're definitely the team that I would have circled in.
So here's the deal. He's got to get traded. It would be to me, it would be a franchise tag and trade and negotiate long term during the trade negotiations. There were three places that make sense to me of what Baltimore would be willing to trade to. Atlanta's the obvious one, out of conference, weak quarterbacking division, weak division as it is. You put Lamar on Atlanta, they're the best team in that division. It's not even for debate. Even with their roster problems.
Exactly.
They're the best team in the division, assuming he stays healthy. I like Arthur Smith as an offensive mind. I thought he did better than anyone could have expected last year. Remember, people thought the Falcons were going to be the worst team in the NFL this year, and they were competitive.
Yeah. So yes, would you have to give up an absolute haul? Yes, you would.
But it's worth it if you're Atlanta.
But you immediately, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's amazingly a huge gap, but I agree with you. You immediately go to the best team in that division.
You're immediate.
So it's worth it to me. Sorry, that kind of move is worth it.
The other two, again, I think the Jets are in play. I think the Jets are in play for all three of these dudes. Jackson, Carr, and Rodgers. I think they're in play for all of them.
I don't think Lamar Jackson makes as much sense for them.
You know what it is? He's the youngest of all of them. Yes, he's the most injury-prone of all of them, but he's the youngest. He's the guy that I think they'd be willing to pay for a longer period of time. And I think Lamar would enjoy himself in New York. The last one, though, Kelley, don't discount the Washington Commanders in all this.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Don't discount them in all this because especially if Snyder's going to sell the team. Not a far trip from Baltimore to Landover, as we know.
We'll talk Derek Carr later, but the Jets, man, I think they could be okay with him.
Maybe. Let's see. Paul Carr is going to join us next. We got a good card in the EPL.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're looking for a betting edge on the NHL, NBA, or college hoops, the VSiN experts have you covered. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today with an introductory offer of just $9.99. VSiN Pro subscribers get access to our daily recap of top plays made by VSiN show hosts and guests. Tools like our betting splits, deep dive betting reports, VSiN betting guides for the biggest games of the year where experts break down brackets, best bets, and daily props. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Not going to be around forever. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe today and sign up for just $9.99. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Happy to be with you on a Wednesday or on a Friday. We already talked to this guy on Tuesday. Kelley, I don't know where Wednesday came from.
Wednesday on the mind.
No, well, there were Champions League games on Wednesday.
There you go.
So there you go. We talked to Paul Carr earlier this week about those games. Nice, easy win for Napoli earlier in the week for our guy Paul Carr. But he joins us right now of TruMedia Sports. Got a nice card in England, EPL and more with our guy Paul Carr right now. Paul, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Good morning. Happy Wednesday or Friday or whatever it is.
You know what? It's Wednesday. I can't even say it's Wednesday somewhere. Like if I said Saturday, like across the world, yeah, it is Saturday in some spots,
Yeah.
but it's not Wednesday anywhere right now. Paul, let's go back to the week that wasn't a Champions League. Was there anything that stood out to you in those second half of the first legs that we saw?
I mean, Liverpool losing 5-2 at home is always going to stand out. That game, I think I said on the air, anything could happen. And in retrospect, I had immediate regrets about just not taking the over. And whatever happens, you're probably going to turn out well. But it was really just the how as much as anything. Liverpool scores 2 goals in the first 20 minutes or so, and looks like they're at least playing well and in decent shape, and Madrid comes back and hangs 5 on them. That was just a wild game. I don't know that, ultimately the end result was, it was definitely one of those things. It didn't shock me, but just the how of it all was pretty surprising. And another bad thing for Liverpool, I could say it's good in the long run if they want to make top 4 next year. They still got a pretty decent shot at that. So maybe getting knocked out of Champions League can let them focus on that down the stretch here.
Speaking of Liverpool here, real quick, let's go to tomorrow.
Yeah.
As Liverpool will take on Crystal Palace. 2.5's the total. I'm a little bit surprised that it's 2. I'm not surprised it's 2.5. I'm a little bit surprised that the juice is only minus 115 now.
I'm in the exact same boat. I mean, if you want the reason, watch that game from Tuesday. Crystal Palace obviously is not Real Madrid, and that's why you get a decent line on this. But, I mean, this is really mostly about Liverpool. The attack is still pretty good. They're 3rd in the Premier League in expected goals this season. Their defense is still pretty not good. Middle of the pack, 11th or so in expected goals against. We're not sure if that Joe Gomez or Ibrahima Konate are going to play, 2 center backs for Liverpool. So that's obviously bad when 2 of your 3 regular center backs aren't there. And I'm just looking at the numbers. 14 out of 22 Liverpool games have had 3 or more goals this season. And the underlying numbers are even better, where 20 out of 22 have had 2.5 expected goals. 17 of 22 have had at least 3 expected goals. So this is all about Liverpool. And Palace doesn't generate a ton offensively. They like to keep it tight defensively. But Liverpool gives up such good shots. They give up the best shots to opponents on average this season. So I think, 3 goals in a Liverpool game and getting minus 115 is a pretty good price for me.
Let's go to London for this one now. Tottenham hosting Chelsea here, Paul. And this is on Sunday.
This is Sunday. This price, again, seems a little bit off to me. So I took Tottenham to win this one at plus 155, which you could still get this morning. Tottenham's a little better than Chelsea this season on the whole. Chelsea's down in 10th place, and the underlying numbers match that. They've just been kind of a mess of injuries and a new coach and transitions and not figuring out who can actually score goals, which is, of course, a problem. Tottenham has problems of their own. Rodrigo Betancourt, one of their better midfielders, is out for the season. They've been up and down all year, but you get plus 155 on the slightly better team at home. That's usually a price that's much closer to even money. So I'm taking that. Chelsea's just been not great this year. 1 win in 8 games, maybe a little unlucky, but to the eye test, just not playing well at all. So I like Tottenham to win at home, getting a really good price.
Paul, has it just been as simple as things are just not gelling with Chelsea and why they're right now smack dab in the middle of the table in 10th?
Yeah, it's kind of a whole bunch of things, not gelling. They brought in Graham Potter's new coach, and it looked like he was kind of riding the ship. They brought him some new players in the transfer window, but they haven't fit all those pieces together. A lot of kind of wingers, not a real center forward, which is what they needed and kind of the one thing they didn't go get. Kai Havertz is the guy they have playing up top in that number 9 role, but he's not really a true center forward. He's just kind of more of a underneath striker, but they've got him playing there, and he's not terrible, but it's just not clicking. So, it's one of those things where nothing's going quite right, plus some injuries, etc. So, they're in 10th place, and again, it's not a fluke. It's not like, they've gotten horribly unlucky. Like, their numbers say that's about where they should be this season.
And been a really bad year for 2 of the big 6. Again, Liverpool, as we know, just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for them. And Chelsea, again, even behind Liverpool in the year where Liverpool has just had a mess.
And the difference is, like, Liverpool's underlying numbers look better. Not like they should be top of the table better, but, top 4-ish.
Right.
They've also got a couple of games in hand on a lot of the teams in front of them. So I think at last check, they were still like the betting favorite for that 4th spot. It was plus money, but maybe it was like plus 135 or something. So they still got a decent shot at getting into the top 4. Chelsea's out of it, but we just keep waiting all season. Liverpool's going to figure it out. They're going to get things turned around. They show flashes like they did in the first 20 minutes against Real Madrid, and then not so much. So they've still got a legit shot. Chelsea's season is pretty much done, especially after losing to Dortmund in the first leg.
To finish top 4, Liverpool plus 130, Newcastle plus 140, Tottenham plus 175, and then a big drop to Brighton 9-1.
Kelley, you beat me to it.
No strong feelings on that. I kind of lean Newcastle just because, again, Liverpool hasn't figured it out yet. Why should they do it now? But no real strong feelings on a play there.
Before we get to the Carabao EFL Cup final, Paul, which you have a bet on, I just want to ask you this because the good thing about the new age of betting here in the U.S. is we have all these markets up on all these international leagues. The relegated market, Bournemouth and Southampton, you're laying a price. That's not much of a shock. You would imagine that those two teams are going or at least Southampton is going to go down, even though Bournemouth right now is outside of getting relegated. Right now, Leeds is at plus 110, Everton's at plus 160, Nottingham's at plus 225, Wolves is at plus 330, and then West Ham, who currently is sitting in the relegation zone, is at plus 350. Is there anything there that you would consider?
So I have what do I have in play? I'm trying to remember. I have a Southampton and a Wolverhampton ticket in play already. Southampton from before the season, but the Wolves one's not looking so hot. Of all those, I kind of lean toward Everton. That was a plus 160 or so.
Yes, plus 160.
They kind of started to look like they might have a sense of what they're doing. They hired Sean Dyche as manager, who'd been with Burnley for a while, and he seems to have stabilized them a little bit. I'm not ready to totally buy into that yet after just a couple of games that they've looked okay. So plus 160 is not terrible. That's probably where I would go if I had to play something here.
Again, Bournemouth right now is the favorite. Is the favorite to get relegated. Again, 3 get relegated. Bournemouth with the worst numbers of anyone, and they are still somehow outside the relegation zone in 17th right now. All right, Paul, we get to your last play of the week, and this is one of the 2 countrywide cups that we have across the pond in the UK. This is the EFL League Cup, and Newcastle is there against Manchester United at Wembley on Sunday afternoon and morning here in the States.
Yep. So this is a final, a traditional tournament final. So my play here is Newcastle to lift the trophy. So that means they could win it in regulation, they could win it in extra time, they could win it on penalties. So as always, I say this because I've made this mistake and everyone betting soccer has. Make sure you get the right bet. You could take Newcastle to win at plus 225 or so, but that means it's in 90 minutes. So I'm going with Newcastle to lift the trophy at plus 140. Manchester United's been playing pretty well. They've won 7 out of 10 since the break, but 6 of those 7 wins were against bottom half teams. So they've really been taking advantage of the schedule and doing what they need to do to finish in the top 4. So I think Manchester United is good. I just don't think they're quite as good as we've seen for the past few weeks. On the season, Newcastle and Manchester United are pretty similar overall as far as the numbers go. So I just think you get a pretty good price here. So you need Newcastle to lift that trophy about 42% of the time for this to be a decent bet. And the market is a little all over the place. I've seen Newcastle from like plus 115 to plus 140 this morning. So, but I like Newcastle here. I know they don't have their starting keeper or even their backup keeper, but I think they've got enough in attack. I think Manchester United's defense is questionable enough that taking Newcastle to get the title at plus 140 is pretty good.
For Paul this weekend, again, Crystal Palace, Liverpool over 2.5. Tottenham plus 155 against Chelsea. And as he just said, Newcastle to lift the trophy in the EFL Cup final against Man U. Paul, pleasure as always. Thanks for being with us this morning.
You bet, Jeff. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Paul Carr of TruMedia Sports giving us his soccer plays across the pond this weekend. We look at the market for where Derek Carr is going to go next and an update on the Honda Classic next.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Basketball fans can turn a loss into a win with the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM Sports. Just place a single first basket score prop bet on any NBA game, and if your bet loses, you receive up to $25 back in bonus bets, so you can wager confidently. Take your game to the next level with BetMGM. Just log into your account or download the BetMGM app today and sign up, or get back into your account. Then wager on any player to score the first basket in any NBA game. And if your bet misses, you'll get up to $25 back in bonus bets. So turn game time into showtime with BetMGM. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 21 or older to place a wager. New and existing customer offer. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And this promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, or Nevada. And we miss out on all the fun out here. All of it. Happy to be with you on a Friday. I still want to know where Wednesday came from. I don't want to go back in time.
Got big plans for next Wednesday?
No. It's March. That's all I know. Wednesday's the 1st. But no, I don't. Which, by the way, Kelley, it has been this morning was another see your breath morning in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I forgot a jacket.
I didn't wear one either. But what's going on? Why are we all of a sudden?
I don't know. It was like 70 degrees 3 days ago. 2 days ago, it snowed.
Yeah, it's a Midwestern week. Very weird. Very, very strange. We just have 3 weeks until the tournament. We need the weather to be nice that week. All I care about. That's all that matters. Let's get our pro tip of the hour, shall we? Let's get a pro tip. Make sure to check house rules when betting markets like these quarterback next teams markets appear. Some books will include odds on the team they're currently on, and others will not. So check your house rules. Check how the bet is listed at books as well.
Yeah, A, I mean, you want to know what you're betting, right? But B, this is I do think it's one of those, there might be a better strategy, or you might be more comfortable betting one way or the other. I mean, again, I'll bring up that Aaron Rodgers one. I'd be more comfortable betting with the points bet option of I get my money back if he goes to the Packers or retire, which you and I think is still very much in play, either one of those.
Yeah. By the way, Kelley, have you seen this, that in faraway places they've put odds up for who's going to do the halftime show next year here in Vegas for the Super Bowl?
God.
You want to guess who the favorite is? You should be able to guess it.
Like some of these books, I need basic things, and then we've got some books doing things that who's betting on that right now?
Someone who has inside information.
What is the market? Who's doing the halftime show next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think?
Where's Insane Clown Posse on there?
Not listed.
Who do you got? Who do you got up top?
The Killers, which is not surprising because they're from here.
Okay.
It's minus 110 favorite. You too.
Is Creed on there? Rob Moreno would like to know.
No.
And Dave Ross would like to know.
I know Dave Ross would like to know. No.
Did you say you too?
You too.
Well, that makes sense because you get crossover promotion.
Well,
right?
you two just signed a big deal at the MSG
at the Sphere. The Sphere.
To be that residency.
That allegedly will be reopening sometime in our lifetime, Jeff.
Well, I mean, it looks done now.
It's looked done. It's like Allegiant Stadium. It's looked done for a year.
Plus 150 on you too. The funniest ones on here. The funniest one is an Elvis impersonator at 25-1. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that at the Super Bowl?
All right, pro tip: definitely don't bet that.
Could you imagine if that happened?
How's it 25-1? There might be an Elvis impersonator, standing outside the stadium before you get.
He might even be in the stadium, but he's not going to be.
He might be in the stadium, but he's not the halftime show.
He's not going to be performing that.
That should be 25,000-1.
In all honesty, actually, they could do. Obviously, we know the conspiracy theory of Tupac still being alive. They could have the greatest conspiracy theory of all time.
Yeah, that would be an impersonator.
No,
I hear where you're going.
No, but they could basically do something like, hey, Elvis has not been dead all these years. You've just been hiding him in somewhere underground.
See, that's not a bad idea, Jeff. You should save those for off the air.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not true, but how amazing would that be? I mean, we thought we might have aliens 3 weeks ago,
who else
so why not?
What do we got? You two? The Killers, you two.
Killers, you two.
Oh, did you already leave the page?
No, I know. I can get it real quick because I saw who. I saw who.
See Jeff typing away.
So Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
Is up there.
Aren't they also a Vegas band?
Yeah, they are. Taylor Swift at plus 250. Foo Fighters at 3-1. Didn't Beyonce already do a halftime show?
Twice, I hear.
Yeah, plus
Rob Moreno apparently knows all the
plus
history.
Plus 350. They're not going to have Beyonce again. And she did it recently.
Have the Foo Fighters ever done a halftime show?
No way.
Give me the Foo Fighters. Nobody else cares, though.
Give me. Actually, in all honesty, give me Metallica at 6-1. That would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yep, I would take them.
Yeah, Celine Dion 20-1 I mean, if we were 15 years ago in the city,
see, all these have a reason behind it.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's pretty funny. Wayne Newton, by the way, is 50-1.
My first week here, I saw Wayne Newton recording some commercial or something right here, 20 yards away from the studio.
Sure.
I walked in, I was like, wow, South Point's got some big names here, apparently.
Apparently so.
Never seen him since. Now I just see Jeff Parles every day.
I know. What a downgrade. What a downgrade. Let's go back to one of these quarterback markets. We didn't get Derek Carr earlier. Let's get to Derek Carr because Kelley Bydlon teased that the Jets might be okay if Derek Carr goes to New York.
Wait, so I want to play Jets psychiatrist here because you're a Jets fan, right, Jeff Parles?
We don't 4.5 minutes is not enough time.
Okay, yeah, I know. But you are a Jets fan, as everybody knows. Okay, you have the option this offseason, okay, of gambling. And it really feels like a gamble to try to get Aaron Rodgers, or you could get Derek Carr right now, or you could try Aaron Rodgers or risk not coming up with anything. Wouldn't you happily take Derek Carr right now? This team is good.
Are they?
Yes.
I think they are too, but
this team is good.
But according to all the smart guys on Twitter, the defense can't possibly be as good as they were this year, which I think is nonsense. And they were relatively healthy on defense. That is true. That's true. That is one thing.
I don't think we'd be surprised if they regressed a bit.
Well, I mean, look, it's hard to be a top 5 defense every year. If they regress to 7, they still will be pretty good.
Right, yeah. You would not be disappointed.
Here's the deal. I don't know how much Carr has left in the tank. How much of this past season was him and how much of it was Josh McDaniels? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
If the answer is it was more Josh McDaniels, then yes, you very happily take Derek Carr you saw in 2021.
I think whenever there's a situation like that last year, it's a bit of both.
You're probably right.
That's my opinion, right?
I think that's the fairest way to put it. But hey, look, the Jets are the favorite at plus 150. I don't understand the New Orleans thing for Derek Carr.
Tell me why we have New Orleans on this, but they're not considered in any other market. Just because he's a free agent, I guess?
Well, the other guy, New Orleans has no cap room, but they're the best at manipulating the cap in the history of professional sports. But if I'm Carr, and this is kind of the same thing, especially if Lamar Jackson doesn't go to Atlanta. If I'm Derek Carr, I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers with Frank Reich as the head coach.
No, I hear you.
And a defense that is good around him and good weapons offensively. You still have DJ Moore. Yes, obviously they traded McCaffrey. We know that. But you still have DJ Moore. You still have Terrence Marshall, I think, at some point will be good in this league.
Well, the biggest thing,
Carolina is the one, Kelley.
The biggest thing is you're not going to the AFC, right? Which
correct.
That's where I don't know if I'm convinced that Aaron Rodgers, and I know he could be traded, so he doesn't really have a choice. But I don't think these top guys. I think if Lamar Jackson gets out, Aaron Rodgers gets out, they're somehow going to manipulate their way to and these teams would want them out of their conference too. Or if you're Lamar Jackson, at least you'd want to. If you're Baltimore, you'd want him out of the AFC. You'd trade him to an NFC team, most likely. Now what the Packers do with Rodgers, I guess, could be in play. But here's the thing: if I'm the Jets, I don't really know if I have Aaron Rodgers under center. I'm convinced I'm a good enough team to win the Super Bowl still. So why go out and pay everything you'd need to pay to go get Aaron Rodgers?
No,
that's my biggest thing.
It's fair. Again, it all depends on what version of Carr you're getting. If you get the Carr that happened this year, forget it. Your team's you might go 7-10 again. The only thing I will say, Kelley, and I'll bring this up, this offseason in the AFC East is fascinating to me because Buffalo's going to lose a bunch of guys because of the way that their roster is constructed.
Yep.
And it feels like the Bills missed their window this year. These last 2 years, they had to win one of the two. They give up. They lose the game to Kansas City. They get blasted by Cincinnati this year. I think they missed their window. Miami, we still don't even know if Tua's going to be coming back. We assume he is. But what version of him are you going to get if he comes back? And then the Patriots. I think the Patriots roster stinks.
I think they're terrible. Yeah, I think they're terrible. The Dolphins one. I think there's a lot of. I think you gave the scary side of it, right? But then there's times where we saw that as one of the best offenses in the league last year.
Yeah, how much of that, though, was the fact that when they really racked up their wins, they were playing mediocre teams? How much of that was that?
I mean, sure, it's some of it, but I think regardless, you saw glimpses of what they can be. I mean, you're one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league.
All I will say is Buffalo's going to be a monster favorite to win that division. They should not be a monster favorite. They really shouldn't. Teams behind them are closer than people realize. Oh, we're going to awards market. Speaking of the Bills, we'll talk about it next.